And good morning and welcome to the morning show on this hump day.
Oh, I was like, did you forget?
No, because it's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, your favorite day.
Also known as hump day because of those camels that had so much to do with Arizona history, blah, blah, blah. But that's enough about that. But morning show, Marshall Shore.
Melissa Farley, fabulous Arizona Center. I know.
The abbreviated, there we go.
Hold on, I'm like.
But you know, I think the coffee has kicked in.
Something's kicked in.
So Bosa Coffee is like, hello, good morning, and welcome to the morning show.
Welcome.
So,
welcome. That's a smoker. I don't know what that is. Okay. So we're here, we're alive, we're energized. We hope you are too on this Wednesday.
On this Wednesday, we've got a great show for you.
We do have a great show for you. We're going to be talking relationships. Yeah. You ready to go there, Marshall?
We shall see.
The nervous laughter as he avoids it. No.
Indeed.
I don't know that we'll be like dissecting our relationships.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
okay.
Don't worry about that.
We'll dissect
don't
strangers' relationships. So much easier.
Okay.
So.
There you go. All right. No, but we will be talking relationships, and we've got some things to do per usual.
Some history, some birthdays. So be sure to come back, join us as we continue the fun.
And the mayhem.
And the mayhem. My gosh. Suddenly hump day has gone dark. And good morning. Welcome back to the morning show on this hump day. I'm Marshall Shore.
And I'm Melissa Farley. We're joining you from the fabulous Arizona Center. Sorry, I wasn't trying to throw you.
Well, no, I'm excited because I think we're getting into a little relationship, Michigas, kind of talking about that.
Oh, you're excited about it
now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Progress, young Marshall. All right. Yeah, we are joined today by Merianne Drew. She is a coach, and I hear you're known as the relationship fairy. Is that true? Yeah, a little bit? A little bit of magic?
Yeah, that's what my clients call me.
Ah, cool.
Somebody called me the relationship fairy godmother the other day. It's a little bit of a mouthful. So
it is a little bit of a mouthful. Yeah, we'll stick with fairy. So tell us a little bit about what you do exactly.
So I'm a coach. I'm not any licensed therapist or anything, but what I do complements what therapists do. So my job is to help people really change their way of relating to themselves and other people from fear to love, right? Okay. And what most people are not aware of so much is that our concept of what love is and being loving is actually based on fear and insecurity. And most people realize this when they get to a point in their life where they realize their best efforts to be what they think the person that they're in relationship with wants, and bending over backwards and people pleasing and all the things isn't actually yielding the results that they want. They don't feel seen, they don't feel heard, they don't feel understood, they don't feel connected, and their nervous system is always dysregulated. They don't feel calm and peaceful around the people that they're in relationship with. And so my job is, once they're at that realization, to steward them from that to better relating. So relating through actual love.
So let me ask, this might be a dumb question, but
there are no dumb questions.
So when people come to you, is it, okay, they've had this realization, but is it while they're in the relationship and they're working with you to kind of redefine the relationship?
That's a really good question,
maybe
actually.
leaving the relationship?
That's a great question, and it's both.
Okay.
So I meet people where they are. So some people realize that this has happened, they don't know what to do, or this realization, right?
Yeah.
They realize that their playbook is not working and is never going to work.
Yeah.
And so they're ready and to throw out their playbook and have a different playbook. So I work with people who are in relationship. Those people really value stability, continuity of narrative for their children if they have any, and they want to stay together, but they want to be having a good time.
Yeah.
Right, instead of just enduring until the kids are out of the house.
I think that's an interesting point that you bring up, because I feel like I need to knock on wood as I say this, but like, you know, my husband and I were just actually having a conversation about how so many of our married friends don't seem to like actually like each other or seem like very happy or that they have
we have the same
a lot of
conversation.
fun.
It's like Paul and I.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and it's always amazing that it's like, I mean, after 31 years, we still adore each other and enjoy just sitting on a park bench and doing nothing together.
I mean, it helps that he lives in China for,
Well.
no.
I lived in China too.
Oh, yeah, so he's in Shanghai. Actually, he's back for this month. Mom goes home next week.
Oh, very cool.
So yeah.
It's a little off topic, but
Yeah, no, but
shared
I mean,
experience.
but the thing was, it was kind of like, for us, it was like he needed to change, and it was like, this gave him the opportunity to go explore. He's a teacher and had just been beaten down by the education system here in Arizona, and so got this opportunity to teach
That's what I
in
did in China,
Shanghai,
too.
and loves it.
Yeah, it's great to have that contrast of one teaching system to another, one culture to another, and
Right.
changing environment. This is a big part of my coaching practice. Changing our environment is a wonderful opportunity for gaining clarity about the environment that you were in, and seeing things clearly. And so that's what's so great about having a coach, because you're too close to the problems when you're in it. You just can't see it. It's too close. And so a coach is step back and can offer the gift of perspective and clarity, so that now you're grounded in reality of what's actually going on, so you can actually interact with the reality and do something about it.
Yeah, and it is really useful. Pat and I, we both go to therapy separately. We don't go to marriage therapy like together.
Great.
But we have a coach that there's been a couple points in our marriage where like we just couldn't like get past this certain thing, and we would call him, and we called him like our strategic coach, because it seemed like we would just do like 1 or 2 sessions with him, and just having an outside perspective of being like, okay, as an outsider, here's what I'm seeing, and it's like, oh, yeah, we are really complicating this, aren't we?
And
You know?
we didn't see that. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's helped us immensely, like move through some really difficult stuff that we thought was insurmountable, when it was just like, oh no, we were too close.
And
we were too close to it.
the biggest struggle for most people is just like asking for that outside help. That's the biggest thing. So many people have this idea in their mind that asking for outside help is just this awful thing. But once they actually do it, they go, oh, this is actually really useful.
Yeah.
Well, and I also think that there's this element of where people think a relationship is easy. And so it's like, because it's like what we see on TV or whatever else, and it just kind of goes seamlessly without any bumps in the road. And oh my gosh, there's always bumps in the road and biorhythms, and there's all kinds of.
Oh, so true.
So I mean, so many things going on, and it's like, but that commitment of yes, we're going to go through this together, and so
which is why I am a fan of marriage, because it's a vow for a reason. It's not just, hey, you wanna? It's like, it's a vow.
Yeah.
You say it in front of your friends and family, and it's one of those things. It's a psychological change once you get married.
Yeah.
That we're in this to win it. You know,
Yeah.
it's very different than cohabiting, and the data on cohabitation is very clear that those relationships end way faster than marriage relationships.
And I think, and just even talking about the relationship does take work on both sides. That it's not all just one way or another, and so. That so many, I think, kind of we talk about relationships out in public, and it's like you only see the celebrations. You don't see those
Especially
low
in
points.
social media. And social media has made relationships a lot harder.
Oh,
and to finish your question, so people who are getting out of relationships, I help as well. So people who are about 6 months to 18 months post-divorce, they're done with their wild phase.
I like how in the email she actually put whore phase, but she was like, I don't know if I can say that, so
We're
you
allowed
can
to
say it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, the horror phase.
Yeah.
Everybody should probably know what I'm talking about. And so they're ready to really put themselves out there and attract a real substantial relationship, right?
Yeah.
But they don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past, right? So they want to be able to deconstruct what happened in the marriage and find out what was it I was contributing to this, right? What's in my lane that I can control. And so I can heal whatever that is in me that co-created that, so that I can move on to something that is not that.
Yeah, and I think, for me, I definitely attracted like the same kind of men with the same kind of issues, over and over and over again. And so when I left kind of my last toxic relationship, I was like, I wanted to be single. And I spent so much time just like doing the self work and kind of figuring out what my identity was. And I say this all the time, and I feel like it, like, nobody really gets it until you've been through it. But it's like when I met Pat, it was like I didn't need him. Like, I didn't need him to fill any holes or like to complete me in any way. Like, I was just choosing to build a life with another human being that also felt whole, you know?
Right.
And that was a game changer for me.
I mean, didn't make it whole, just made it better.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so,
Complement each other.
right.
Yeah.
And enhance each other's greatness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah, and that's coming from not a place of needing and insecurity.
Right.
It's from a place of wholeness and security.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm curious, like, the people that are married for long periods of time, you know, that, you know, might kind of, I don't know, like I'm thinking about, right, like, I've been married for 8 years, you've been married a lot longer than that. But like, you know, what are some of the things that you see for people that in long-term marriages, like, and I realize I'm generalizing a lot, but like, you know, to kind of keep a healthy marriage, like, what are some really important tenets that you like to encourage?
Something to keep in mind for everybody if you want longevity is to recognize that we all become different people every 7 to 10 years. Right? We become different iterations. Right?
No,
I saw your face.
Well, no, because I mean, well, that's the thing. I mean, it's like, because I don't want to be with the same person that I met decades ago.
Right. I wouldn't date a 20-year-old.
Exactly. Right. And so that's the thing. It's like, and it's having that trust that as they grow, that we
can negotiate this again. Right?
Exactly.
It's all a negotiation, and it's
Right.
it's relearning who this person is and seeing what their boundaries are and what their standards are and what their deal breakers are, right? And that's not going to be the same as it was when you first met them.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can't be negotiated. Sometimes people do change into different versions of themselves, and those versions are no longer compatible,
Yeah.
right? So.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm like half the time. Like, I feel like I become a new person every like 3.5 years.
Oh wow! So you do the work. You dig in deep.
Well, I mean, I think
But I
also,
know that about myself, you
right,
know.
and,
like,
and I also think it's like, and I think in so many folks, I mean, after coming out of COVID, I mean, so many folks I knew that were together aren't together after COVID because suddenly they were together 24/7, and they didn't have those breaks from each other.
Yeah.
And relationships, I use this analogy a lot, is like a dance, right? We need to come apart and go together,
Right.
and come apart and go together. When we get together too much, that's not a dance.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're stepping on each other's toes.
And the music can change. Sometimes it's a jukebox, and sometimes it's a song you don't like coming up, but there it is.
Right, and that goes to another analogy I use a lot with couples. And by the way, I don't just do couples relationship coaching. I work with people who they're estranged from an adult child, or they have a difficult boss.
Oh, so really it's just
difficult-
relationships, not just
in general.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we're all relating all the time, right? And
Right.
the temple of God is a relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, but the other thing was we're always learning a new game, right? Everything's a game. Even a transaction at a store is a game, right? And so when one person starts to change, necessarily the game has to change. The other person has to learn new rules, learn to
Right.
do new rules, or the game can't go on.
Yeah.
And so that's why I always say that I can change a relationship around completely just working with one person.
Right.
Because it's a system, and if that one person changes and they stay the course, excuse me, they have the courage to continue doing the hard thing and making the other person, of course, uncomfortable as a result,
Right.
and willing to still hold their discomfort without trying to fix their discomfort, then the other person, after they have a little tantrum, they're going to go, okay, I can either leave or I can learn a new game.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just decide, I have enough invested in this relationship, I can learn a new game.
Yeah.
But some people don't. And that's just...
Well, I love that distinction that you brought up about how this isn't just for marriages or people in a romantic relationship, because that's something that I'm specifically working on with my therapist right now, is because I wanted to bring up your third point, which was you had talked about people pleasing, and what you just said too, of like when somebody reacts poorly or negatively, like trying to fix it immediately. And so I'm really trying not to do that, particularly in client relationships, where like maybe I'll set a boundary and a client will react a certain way, and in the past I would have been like, oh my gosh, this is let me fix it. Now I'm just kind of like, not my problem, I guess, but it's super uncomfortable for me to do that, but it's so important, I think. And then but what it does, right, is open up like, where else do I do this in my life? A lot of places, right? Like, because you don't realize that. So can you talk a little bit about the work that you do specifically with people pleasing and kind of where you dive into that?
So like you were saying, it's relationship with others is just as much about the relationship with the self, right?
Yeah.
And if you're going to be in a relationship with another person, for it to be fulfilling and feel safe, it has to be authentic. So you have to be your real self. You can't be sending in what I call your representative.
Right.
Right. And the representative is trying to people please. The representative is doing damage control. And when we can come to a relationship with ourselves where we're accepting of ourselves, of our flawed humanity, right, and making it okay that I'm a human and I make mistakes, and giving ourselves that unconditional grace and forgiveness, then we can relate that way with other people. And having boundaries is the only way to have healthy relationships.
Right.
Because boundaries keep everybody respectful, and boundaries keep everybody safe, and boundaries keep everybody acting like grown-ups.
Yeah.
To be frank.
Well, and I think I'm also in community about those boundaries. I mean, as times change and things happen, it's like, okay, just checking in, well, where are we with these?
Yeah. Oh, I love the check-in thing. That's a great tool that my husband and I use. Like, hey, let's check the temperature of the relationship on a consistent basis. Like, we want to see, are you feeling okay? Are we feeling connected? And when you're really attuned to another individual, you don't even have to ask that,
Right.
Well, right.
You want to talk about it?
Oh, exactly.
Right. But you don't even have to ask. You can say, okay, your spirit is not as extended as it has been, and your presence has left the building. I would like your presence, and how do we solve this together?
Yeah.
And another pitfall that you asked that I see a lot with couples is they have this sort of adversarial relationship where I have to win and the other person has to lose, and they're competing against each other.
I think we both know that couple, or plural.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're competing against each other, and that never feels safe for anybody. And you're always on edge, and it doesn't create harmony. That's for sure.
Your little collar's moving over to the right. They're gonna be like all the way turned around.
I know.
Yeah.
Every time I do this, I think it's like.
Right, but when you see your partner as an adversary, you can't ever be a partnership.
Right.
Like, you have to choose one or the other, and so it really depends on how it's perception. Everything's perception. How am I going to see this person differently? How am I going to see this situation differently? And when you do change the way you see it, it really does change. I know you both have that experience.
Yeah.
And we really do have the choice to choose what our perception is going to be, and that's my job, to help people shift from fear perception to love, and you can't have both.
And honestly, even in like healthy relationships, like, it's a good reminder, right? Like, Pat and I, I'll just share it. Like, he just had a job change. We just launched the show again. Like, there's been a lot of change, a lot of stress. And when I get tired and when I get stressed, I know this about myself, I'll get kind of defensive. And so, like, he'll say something and he's not even meaning to, like, challenge me in any way, but I'm like, well, you just implied that I'm lazy, and I'm like, whatever. And sometimes he'll just say to me, like, Melissa, I'm on your team.
That's so good.
And like, that's such a good reminder of, like,
nice job.
Okay, you're right. Like, yes, we're not against each other here.
Right,
like,
exactly.
you are in this with me. And so just something as simple
I love that
as
you brought up the stress thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we're not taking care of ourselves first, we can't have healthy relationships, right? If we're not sleeping, we cannot mediate negative emotion. They're so tightly tied. So if, a new mother who's taking care of an infant, she's not sleeping, and so extend a little bit more grace, right? Or like when you're stressful job changes, things like that. I know my husband's job is sort of seasonal, and so August, he's outside, it's the end of the summer, it's so hot in August in Arizona, and he gets pretty grumpy in August. And I extend him a little bit more grace because I know August is almost over, and he's going to come back to sanity. But if we're not taking care of ourselves, if we're not regenerating, if we're not sleeping, if we're not eating healthful food, if we're not exercising, if we're not drinking enough water here in the desert, right? We literally cannot show up as our best self in relationship. And then when we don't, a lot of us have a tendency to beat ourselves up for it.
Right.
As if we could have done anything different.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if I mentioned, I'm also a holistic nutritionist and health and wellness coach. So I can see it from that angle too. So when my clients come to me and they go, I can't believe it, I lost my mind and we had this huge fight. And I say, okay, let's broaden our lens and see the whole context. What's the whole context here? How much
Yeah.
sleep did you have the night before? What time of day did you guys have the fight? By the way, don't have hard conversations after 8 p.m. Just don't do it. Right?
Yeah.
And let's see the whole context. And when we can do that, we can really see, I can extend myself some grace.
Yeah.
But I have this under my control. I
Right.
can actually change that situation where I'm taking care of myself all the time,
Yeah.
or as often as I possibly can, and then I'm handling what's in my lane to come to the relationship as my best self.
Well, I love that you kind of approach that from a holistic viewpoint. I do think that's really important and something that I'm very mindful of myself. But Merianne, why don't you share with our viewers how they can reach out to you or get in touch with you if they are interested in working with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my website is meriannedrew.com. That's spelled a little different. Which camera am I looking at?
Yeah.
That one, sorry. So it's spelled MERIANNEDREW.com. And you can schedule a complimentary discovery call on that website. And that is a free call where I give you the gift of clarity of what's going on in your situation. And then if I can help, I'll show you what that looks like. And if not, I can point you in the direction of someone who can. I also have courses coming out. There's going to be a course based on the positive psychology model of wellness. It's the PERMA model, all of the pillars of wellness. And the R in PERMA is relationships. So that's coming up in March. And there's a community that you can join on the Skylar Network as well. It's called Foundations of Love.
Very, very great. Thank you so much.
Indeed.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for having
so
me.
much.
Yeah. All right. Well, not too, right? We didn't dive
No.
into, yeah, you're good. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Merianne, for joining us today. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this with all of our goodies to share.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So much fun stuff left.
So much. And we'll see if Marshall's collar decides to move around.
I know. What's going on with that collar?
See where it's at when we come back.
Welcome back to the morning show on this Wednesday, or as I like to say, Hump
Day. Yep.
I'm Marshall Shore,
And I'm Melissa Farley. We're here at
the fabulous Arizona Center, and oh my gosh, we've been having such a great week so far.
we have.
Yeah.
We got a little relationship coaching just now. You ready to go home and be a better partner?
Sure.
I'm not. No.
I'm gonna be an adversary.
I'm just gonna be me. Got to deal
Devil's
with it.
advocate.
He knows what he married. No. No, that's good. Good stuff.
Yeah, no, I think it is. And I think also just acknowledging the fact that relationships are work.
They are.
They don't just kind of grow on their own. You
It
gotta,
would be nice if they did. Wouldn't it?
some days, yes. Some days be like, oh, thank God I don't have to deal with that. But some days, yeah.
Yeah. No, I know.
But,
I know.
but in the end, it's worth it.
It is. Well, if you're in a healthy
Well, right.
relationship.
If you're right. It all depends on your situation or whatever. But there you go.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
All right. So let's talk some history.
Let's.
So, okay, so as we know, so many places now are having extremely cold weather, snow, oh my gosh. And so on this date back in 1949, Operation Haylift, where basically the West was hit with snowstorms, and in the Navajo reservation, the Air Force actually started doing what they called haylift. People would write in the snow kind of what they needed for their animals, for themselves, and they would get care packages. And so in this, what I thought was great, because you can see they need help. They need hay for the animals. And so, yeah, and so it's like, just because Arizona is not just a desert.
Yeah.
We also have mountains areas where it does get really cold and snow. And
It sure does.
so
Yeah.
we're more than what people think.
We're actually pretty diverse. I mean, yeah, you drive a couple hours and extreme temperature change and
Right.
snow.
You can choose to be in snow or out of snow. And
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
So other than driving into snow or driving out of snow for
Oh.
some fun,
Well
what
then.
are some other things we can do for fun?
Okay, let's see. So, this one actually would probably be a pretty good one for Pat and I to go to, speaking of our beloved partners here. It's the Richard Avedon collection at Phoenix Art Museum. The Phoenix Art Museum is presenting the work of one of the most influential photographers of the 20th century, and that is Richard Avedon. And drawn from the collection of the Center for Creative Photography in Tucson, this exhibition presents more than 50 photographs by him, highlighting his distinctive large-scale portraits of fellow creative icons such as Marilyn Monroe, which we just saw, Marian Anderson, Paul McCartney, other celebrities, also in addition to the work that he did in fashion. So I think it'll be a pretty spectacular exhibition. Yeah. Are you an Avedon fan?
I am, and and the art museum I think has such cool stuff up right now. I mean, we've talked about the Keith Haring exhibit they've got right now, and actually later today I'm going off to Metro Arts to talk to a group of art students about kind of some Arizona history, getting ready for Statehood Day.
Oh, cool.
And so
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Just so if you're thinking about going, it is free for museum members, which membership is actually not as much as you might think it is to the Phoenix Art Museum. But if you're not a member, it's $28 for adults, $23 for students with an ID.
But Wednesday after 3,
it's Pay What You Wish Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah, so keep that in mind for sure. The next one is a fun one. It's called Mania, the ABBA tribute at the Aikida Theater in Mesa. Yep. They were formed in 1999, and the show has been selling out theaters and concert halls internationally ever since. They actually spent 18 weeks in London's West End, and they are bringing the Swedish supergroup ABBA back to millions of fans and creating even new fans from this. So tickets range from $56 to $70. And that is going to be in Mesa tonight. Are you an ABBA fan?
Oh, I am. But what I love is it's like you'll be even walking down Central and you'll hear someone's car and you look in and they're much younger, but there's some ABBA playing, which I love that.
It is really cool. We're back at the Lavender Farm also in Chandler at 6:30 p.m. tonight. They're doing a soap making class. And I think we talked about this before. They include everything to make cold pressed soap. And there's going to be obviously lots of lavender, lots of good stuff. They'll provide you with an apron. They just ask that you arrive about 10 to 15 minutes and that the class is going to take about an hour. So tickets are $125 to go. That starts at 6:30.
So, and maybe you got invigorated by seeing some of those soaps at Bloom. And you're like, how would I do that? You can now go and learn how to do just that.
Although I don't know if you'll make one that smells as good as that cactus blossom. That was
probably
my
not
favorite,
but,
far and away. All right, you ready for more trivia?
Yeah.
Ace Ventura. That is the theme. Yep. Ace Ventura trivia at the Sugar Bar, 7 p.m. They're joined by their friends Audio Odyssey. It's free to play. There's gift cards that they're going to give away to the top 3 teams. Starts at 7. It's free to participate, but again, you are in an establishment, so please do be a good patron. Buy some food, buy some drinks, have a good time. And then
and a little bit of Jim Carrey. Who doesn't love a little Jim Carrey?
I love a lot of bit of Jim Carrey. I'm a big Jim Carrey
Especially if
fan.
there's a big swoop in his hair.
You kind of have Jim Carrey hair.
So I always look at that. I'm like, oh man, if I could just get that hair.
You could do that.
So.
I believe in you. It is also karaoke night at Thunderbird Lounge.
Oh, I thought you said karaoke. I was like,
karaoke.
I was like, it's all about the hair and the music.
That would tie in with your Ace Ventura
Yeah, exactly.
obsession.
Yes.
No, open karaoke. So basically, you can just sing your little heart out if you want, or you can hang out and make fun of people as they sing their little hearts out. Whatever you want to do. It's free to attend, but they are asking to RSVP. It's 21 plus, and again, make sure you bring out some money to buy some food and snackies and drinks and all that good stuff. I don't know how people do karaoke sober anyway, so.
Do people?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be. I've never done karaoke. That still has not changed, so. Yeah.
I think maybe we need to Thunderbird and change that at some point.
I feel like since neither of us are musically talented, I would
Well, that
feel.
doesn't mean I don't do karaoke.
I know, but I'm saying I would feel better doing it with you.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay.
Because
I'll
it's
do
like,
it.
yeah, I mean, my goal is not to be good. Because I already know.
So should that be my goal? Just be as bad as I possibly
Well,
can.
so I like to choose songs I don't know anything about the words nor the tune, which are quite easy because anything kind of in the last few years, I'm like, I have no idea.
That's
what this
true.
song
That
is.
would not be hard for you.
So,
yeah.
So and then it's like, and then you just kind of follow the bouncing ball, which never really is quite right.
Can I make requests? Could you sing an NSYNC song? That would make me really happy.
Yeah, because I don't
Yes.
really. I mean, I know who they are, but that's about it.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna do that. That sounds like a great.
Did they do
time.
that Bye 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 song, or was that
Yeah.
the other group? Okay.
No, that's
okay.
them. You got
I
it.
didn't know if
You
it was.
got
It
it.
could have been one of the other boy bands.
No, it was NSYNC.
Ah,
Yeah.
well, there you go.
So we can't do that one because you know it.
Oh, well, all I know is like Bye Bye Bye. So that's about as far as I would get.
I used to know the choreography for that song.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a hardcore NSYNC girl. I really was.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah. I thought I was going to marry one of them, like fully delusion, teen mind.
Well, you know, that's where they make their money. Is
JC
people.
Chasez, just saying, you missed out on all this amazingness. You know what's funny is I actually found the girl he's dating on LinkedIn, and it was so weird because I was like, wow, he ended up with like a normal person. It could have been me.
If only you were normal. I don't want to not to
Touche.
burst that bubble, but
Touche. All right.
so all right, so celebrations. You know,
Yes.
so tonight, I mean, basically kicks off Lunar New Year.
Sure.
Hence why,
Yeah.
and so outgoing is Year of the Dragon, incoming is Year of the Snake,
Year of the Snake.
and so there are also different elements. So this coming year is the Wood Snake, and so this combination only happens every 60 years, and so basically that pairing of the wood and the snake symbolizes growth, stability, and creativity. So there
I'm
you
not
go.
feeling that so much in 2025.
Well, you know, but creativity, I'm like, I think that's going to be, I mean, I think there's going to be lots, I mean.
I'm feeling like a major shedding. Like I feel like I'm like kind of letting go of a lot of things that aren't serving me. Like
Well, right, and
snake shed
focusing
skin.
on, exactly.
Yeah.
And so focusing on, okay, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm, so yeah.
Yeah,
So I do agree
yeah.
with that as well. Also, it is Seeing Eye Guide Dog Day.
Aww.
And so it was interesting. And so learning about the history of this was really cool. So back in 1929 was when CI, the world's most sustainable guide dog training school in the U.S., they started. There was an article in Saturday Evening Post in 1927, and this guy from the military reached out to this woman and said, could I get one of these dogs that have been helping so many people? And so they combined forces. He came here to the U.S., and that's where the whole idea of a seeing eye guide dog being trained for that purpose
interesting.
was created. And so,
Lots of good boys out there.
indeed, with those harnesses and when they're working
Yeah.
dogs, and now, I mean, there are so many dogs that help people in so many ways.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so, and then something that may not be helpful, especially to the waistline some days, corn chip day.
Corn chip day.
So not to be
Fritos.
confused with tortilla chips, completely different. So basically this came from in the early 30s. There was a gentleman who needed something else for his candy store. And so he kept trying to figure out, how do I make these things, but they kept going stale. And then there was a gas station of all things that was selling masa for some reason, I guess.
Okay.
And so he deep fried that. And so they collaborated. And that is where Fritos come from.
Sometimes when big dogs, I don't know if you know this, when big dogs get like too much yeast and stuff, they smell like corn chips. Like their paws will smell like corn chips.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So like if you ever smell like Fritos in your house or somebody else's house, it might be the dog.
Oh, and you're not eating like Frito pie or anything. So, 'cause you
Yeah.
know about Frito pies where you just take the Fritos bag and all, the little snack size, and just pour chili in
Yep.
there.
Yeah.
So, and some cheese and
Yeah. That does sound pretty good right now.
yummy goodness. It is also Curmudgeon Day.
Curmudgeons!
You know, defined as ill-tempered, disagreeable, and quarrelsome
Those are the perfect curmudgeons right there.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, you've got like Ebenezer Scrooge, Statler and Waldorf. I mean, some of my favorite Muppets, Sophia Petrillo. Red from Orange is the New Black.
I never thought of Sophia as a curmudgeon. I always get her on Golden Girls quizzes. That means I'm a curmudgeon? A little bit. I'm a little bit of a curmudgeon.
So,
okay.
And also, and Monty Burns.
Oh, yeah.
From The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I mean, big time curmudgeon.
Yes.
Excellent.
Excellent.
So, and basically celebrated today because of W.C. Fields. Because, so as an actor, he developed this whole persona of this raspy character that was just kind of gruff.
Huh.
And so I didn't know he started off in vaudeville as a juggler and comedic performer. And that took him into Broadway, silent films, and talking later, and basically really became known for that cynical humor.
Very cool.
So W. Fields, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Also, it is John D. Rockefeller Jr. Day.
Okay.
So he is the son of Standard Oil founder John D. Rockefeller, and played a crucial role in creating the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art in New York City.
That's a great one.
And Rockefeller Center.
Yep.
So, which, I mean, this time of year everybody's flocking to because of the tree.
Well, it's kind of over now.
Well, but it's like for the holidays, it's like the epicenter.
The most crowded experience I've ever had in my life was going to the Rockefeller Tree on a Saturday night. That was insane.
That's what you went on to say. You see, you go during the week.
I couldn't. I was always at Broadway shows, and then we would leave and be so tired because they would get out at like midnight, and I was with my auntie.
Oh,
so,
okay, that explains
it.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, mistake learned. Will not make again. Yeah.
Well, and this week we've talked about so much sports. Barney Oldfield, who you might not know.
I don't.
But he was known as the king of speed, the master driver of the world. He is the first person in the world to ever go 60 miles an hour.
Woo! 60.
60. And basically in the 1910s, he was involved with a Cactus Derby, which was this road race from LA to Phoenix.
Fun.
And so it was a testament to cars as well as drivers and the stamina of both.
Okay.
And then, when you talk about cars, one of the most famous cars, which we don't really have a photo of, but the driver of that car, Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck.
Magnum
Talk about
PI,
good hair.
I know.
Look at that.
Exactly. I mean, from Magnum PI, basically throughout the entire 80s, and a Hawaiian shirt and a Ferrari.
He dated Monica on Friends.
Oh, that's right. So,
3 Men and a Baby.
Oh, yeah. As well, and mostly you can now see him on Blue Bloods on CBS.
And old people commercials. How old is he, by the way?
He is 79 years old.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Wow.
And still looks good for 79.
Yeah, he does.
So,
all right. Way to go, Tom Selleck.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on the morning show for Hump Day.
Hump Day. Yes.
So tomorrow we'll bring a whole new host of guests, new things to do and celebrate.
As Marshall likes to say, we'll have a cavalcade of guests on
We
Thursday
will
and Friday.
Indeed, and a long list of things to do to celebrate.
Yeah, like 17. Forget the 5. We're going to do 17 things to do.
We'll just the 24-hour marathon of the morning show. We'll just not.
It'll just be me reading constantly all the things. Yeah.
From a page in the phone. Actually, not even a phone book anymore because
No.
you don't get a phone book anymore. So.
I like how Chris turned on the outro music. He's like cutting us off when you do an award show.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah. Okay, we're done. We're done talking on this Hump Wednesday. We hope you have a fabulous night.
And we'll see you back here on Thursday. Oh, you almost did that in
unison.
That's what I was hoping for. I was like, well,
sorry, I stopped talking.
Oh,
yeah.
I know you did. I was going for the unison thing, but all right. We will see you back here on Thursday morning.